It's very well established that, by and large, villains are there to be hated and ultimately kicked into next Tuesday, but just occasionally we have come across a baddie with such razor-sharp wit that it's almost impossible not to find them at least a little bit endearing. Regardless of what madcap schemes they have up their exceptionally tailored sleeves, it's quite easy to enjoy a well-thought-out put-down, sarcastic remark, or simply excellent fashion sense, even if they are at the expense of the good guys. After all, what's the point of being a megalomaniacal genius if you can't do it with a bit of style? I should know, I've tried and failed spectacularly. For this list, we've trawled through gaming history to find the antagonists who serve up the most snark, swag, and attitude. If you've got something to say, you can be certain these guys, or girls, will have a cutting one-liner to put you right in your place. I'm the dull-witted Peter from TripleJump, and these are the 10 sassiest video game villains. Number 10. Shang Tsung, Mortal Kombat 11. You might think that when your diary is packed end to end with fight-to-the-death showdowns, there wouldn't be much time left for smart quips and snide comments. After all, it's not so easy to roast your opponent when you're missing a spine. Many of our favourite MK mainstays, however, somehow manage to hold their own when it comes to throwing a touch of attitude each other's way, even as they leak their own internal organs. But arguably, none of them give off an aura of swagger and superiority quite like Shang Tsung. He may have a crown to steal and souls to absorb, but that is not going to stop him from donning a pair of shoulder pads that would make Joan Collins blush and tossing a whole load of snark his opponent's way. The likes of Johnny and Cassie Cage aren't lacking in the quip department themselves, but their offerings always seem practiced and rehearsed. They try far too hard, whereas Shang Tsung's effortless arrogance is what lands him a spot on this list over his peers. Throw into the mix a killer entrance paired with the nonchalant conjuring of a somewhat ominous green skull, and you've got a recipe for one sassy arse-whooping.
I like you better, Scorpion.
Number 9. Ramon Salazar, Resident Evil 4. I don't know if it's just a severe case of short man syndrome taken too far, and surely it's no coincidence that he dresses up like Napoleon, but I've got a sneaking suspicion that there are better ways of dealing with your insecurities than signing yourself up to a parasite-worshipping cult and merging your body with a grotesque flower monster. Despite the grey hair and pasty complexion, Ramon Salazar is actually only 20 years old, though he appears to have the wit and sass of your funny but slightly non-PC granddad. Deep in a plot to kidnap and infect the president's daughter with a Las Plagas parasite, Salazar serves up some serious superiority, taunting protagonist Leon Kennedy throughout their numerous interactions with a thin veil of politeness. Despite constantly failing to dispose of Leon, he mostly keeps his cool, regal demeanour, not least because he firmly believes at all times that he has the upper hand. Or at least, the right hand.
Your right hand comes off?
Salazar is cold, calculating, and ruthless, and manages to tie all of that together with a healthy dose of swagger and a very swanky hat. Number 8. Moustache Girl, A Hat in Time. Undoubtedly, it is difficult to be a young girl these days, but surely it's even more difficult to be a young girl with a moustache. But when life gives you lemons, make yourself a batch of incredibly bitter lemonade. Right, ladies? As main antagonist of colourful whimsy indie platformer A Hat in Time, Moustache Girl's goal is to collect all of the elusive timepieces before protagonist Hat Kid does. Armed with little but a cape and a can-do attitude, what she lacks in Veet hair removal cream, she more than makes up for in sass. Obsessed with justice and taking down bad guys, Moustache Girl starts the game as the player's ally, but quickly turns heel, as they say on Cultaholic, upon the realization that she can use the timepieces for her own ends. Her sense of self-righteousness is her downfall, but not once throughout the entire entire game does she fail to retain her snarky attitude, staying cocky and condescending even right through the final boss battle. To be fair, if I had such a glorious mustache, I'd probably be a bit arrogant too. Number 7. ARDYN IZUNIA, Final Fantasy 15. It's not all that easy to stand out from the crowd in a series full of characters that can all be considered a bit, how you say, extra. I mean, come on Cloud, that sword is ridiculous. I can recommend a very effective blue pill though, if you like. That being said, there are some things one can do to stand out from the crowd in this franchise. For starters, you could take a leaf out of ARDYN IZUNIA's book and deck yourself out in enough accessories to put Claire's out of business, saunter about the place like you're king of the world, and use your eccentric personality as a facade to mask the fact that you're really quite an evil dude. Heading up political operations for the less than cool Niflheim Empire and having founded the Magitech Infantry, ARDYN is the main antagonist in Final Fantasy 15. Throughout the game, he keeps his laid-back demeanour and is unfazed by the events around him, using all of this to his advantage to manipulate others to his will. Couple all of this with the swaggiest swaggering we at TripleJump have ever seen swaggered, and this is one swaggery swag. Let's just do the next entry. Number 6. The Riddler, Batman Arkham Asylum. If, like our boy Ben Potter, you are a sucker for 100% completion, or at least a platinum trophy, you'll be very familiar with the Riddler and his penchant for hiding little question mark shaped trophies here, there and everywhere. What you'll also be familiar with though is his unique brand of condescension and sass that goes along with the task. Throughout Arkham Asylum, our good friend Batman is challenged by one Edward Nygma, there's no way that's his real name, to solve riddles and uncover a series of MacGuffins hidden around the asylum. Find enough of them, and Bats is able to bring the fury of the Gotham City Police Department down upon Nygma, putting the kibosh on his nutty schemes. What's really entertaining though is Riddler's frequent check-ins, which start out so deliciously patronising and sarcastic that you just know we'll be getting Bruce's bat panties in a right old twist. As more are found, however, Nygma becomes increasingly indignant, loftily declaring that owing to his own superior intellect, there's no way Batman could be beating him, and therefore he must be cheating. It's just a shame that all that intelligence, sass, and fancy green fabric couldn't save you from a taser. Hey Eddie, riddle me this. Number 5. Hades, Kingdom Hearts. Now we are acutely aware that this incarnation of Hades originated in Disney's Hercules movie film back in 1997, but whichever way you look at it, he was in 2002's Kingdom Hearts, and therefore he is a sassy video game villain. Being god of the underworld can't be an easy job, what with the generally depressing surroundings, hordes of souls flying about the place, and the food and vet spills that go along with owning a 3-headed dog. And Christ, look at the size of him. Imagine the pooper scooper you'd need. A villain therefore needs a creative outlet, and Hades' outlet is apparently snark.
I can always turn up the heat!
One of numerous baddies in the Kingdom Hearts franchise, when he isn't arranging for our heroes to participate in the Hades Cup, he can be found carefully crafting a cutting remark and taking every opportunity to use his razor-sharp wit on literally anyone, be they friend or foe. As children's villains go, Hades' sass is unsurpassed, and it's almost got us wanting to convert to the ancient Greek religion, just so when we die, we get to hear him roast us.
Where's her? What is everyone's infatuation with that stone?
Number 4. Sheogorath, The Elder Scrolls 4: Oblivion. Not that we're experts on the matter, but it's fair to assume that you can't claim to be the Daedric Prince of Madness without having a personality as loud as your disembodied voice, which in Sheogorath's case is pretty darned loud. As bonkers as he is sassy, this Daedric lord revels in driving the mortals of Tamriel insane. Say what you want about the dude, but he certainly has style, and I'm not just talking about that fancy purple outfit. Perhaps his most famous undertaking is having the player convince a small settlement of Khajiit that the world is ending, a task which culminates in flaming dogs raining down upon the village, and the player being rewarded with the Wabberjack, a staff that in Oblivion can turn your enemies into a host of wild animals, and in Skyrim can do all manner of other things, including replacing your enemies with random amounts of cheese.
Cheese for everyone!
It isn't much fun tormenting your subjects into insanity, however, if you can't follow it up with the odd quip or two, and Sheogorath has plenty of memorable voice lines up those nicely embroidered puffy sleeves. Sorry, linear sleeves. In spite of his less than agreeable approach to being a deity, we can't help but enjoy his smart mouth, and we desperately pray to the old gods for his return in future Elder Scrolls titles. Excuse me eating in the middle of a voiceover. Someone left a load of cheddar on the table, it's really quite tasty. I wonder if Ben wants some. Ben? I don't know where he is. Anyway, Oh, delicious. Number 3, GLADOS, Portal. If there's one thing more fun than a human adversary with a smart mouth, it's a robot with one. GLADOS, or Genetic Life Form and Disk Operating System if you want to get serious about this, is the not-so-friendly robot lady that was built to control and oversee the Aperture Science Enrichment Center. Intended originally as a benevolent machine, GLADOS instead firmly cemented herself as a naughty robot by flooding the facility with neurotoxin, killing the majority of its inhabitants. Have we tried turning her off and on again?
You are a horrible person.
Throughout Portal, GLADOS acts as both guide and primary antagonist, managing to deliver instruction that is somehow both devoid of human emotion and yet also sarcastic, all the while turning seemingly encouraging statements into patronizing attacks on the player. Unfortunately, as fun as the interactions with GLADOS are throughout both Portal titles, we're unable to offer her a higher place on our list because we still can't forgive her for making us incinerate our loyal companion cube. Oh, we could have been so happy together. Number 2, Pagan Min, Far Cry 4. They say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, if that's the case, I'm pretty certain you could get an entire novel on how to be the world's most polite nutcase from a single photo of Pagan Min's snazzy outfit alone. Oppressive ruler of the fictional country of Karat, Pagan Min and his forces are hard at work to quash the rebellion of the Golden Path, the movement fighting to remove Min from power and free the country from his totalitarian regime. Min's entrance tells you everything you need to know about his character. Sauntering coolly out of a helicopter and proceeding to stab a soldier to death with a pen before going on to complain about getting blood on his shoes and taking a selfie, Min emits bucket loads of sass and psychopathy. Never before have we at TripleJump come across a villain who is quite so detestable and likeable in equal measure, and it's Min's meticulous balance of cool, calculated attitude and pure tyranny that lands him the number 2 spot on this list. Not to mention that sweet pink suit, am I right? Oh, and the haircut too. Do you guys think it would suit me? Maybe the editor can just give us a quick artist impression. Oh god. And number 1, Handsome Jack, Borderlands 2. How could we have chosen anyone for the top spot other than a man who owns a diamond pony named Butt Stallion and calls himself Handsome Jack? Though who can blame him, to be honest? Grafted on face aside, he's a very dashing young chap, you know, when he's not committing atrocities. Despite murdering his way to the position of president of the Hyperion Corporation, having board meetings and conference calls coming out of his ears and keeping himself immaculately dressed, Jack still finds time to record taunting snippets for the player, popping up every now and then to remind you that you're Vault Hunter scum and he's much better than you. Jack spends the entirety of Borderlands 2 looking down his perfectly engineered nose at you, delivering crushing blow after crushing blow in a wonderfully arrogant fashion. It's arguably that very arrogance that finally brings him to his knees, but even as he faces the prospect of biting the big one, he's still got plenty of quips up his sleeve, dying the way he lived, as one cocky, handsome son of a gun. I do wonder who's going to look after Butt Stallion now he's gone though. Oh, good horsey. And that's our list, but did we miss out any other sassy, snarky villains? Let us know in the comments below. You can follow myself and TripleJump on Twitter here, and why not support the things you enjoy by having a look at our Patreon. Finally, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. I've been Peter from TripleJump, and thanks for watching.